In our 9th fight in professional MMA, Brian Schmidt versus GSP, we are in episode 2 of First Canada, then the World, a GSP career, and you are very, very welcome. Now, in this fight, we're going to be, in this fight I decided, it was at this point that I started to sort of get to the point of realising that head kicks were going to work for me, and I was just trying different things, you know. I was still at this point very much experimenting to see what GSP was actually capable of, which incidentally is a fair bit, you know. I mean, GSP can do a lot. He's a very versatile fighter, I'm finding. You know, obviously me not knowing much about him, it's a bit of a learning curve for me, trying out these new fighters and seeing what they're capable of and what they aren't, obviously. But in this fight, I was definitely experimenting with different forms of kicks, and then when I got close enough to clock the back fist in, I was trying to hit the back fist. But I didn't really have a per se game plan apart from going for sticking to stand-up fighting. Stayed on my feet and less of the ground game. I definitely found with what I've recorded thus far of this is that GSP is definitely better when he's doing a standing game. His ground game ain't all that good in this. At least this version of GSP's ground game ain't all that good. Plus my ground game's pretty shit. So I prefer the stand-up game. I can control it. When I start to get tired, I can go in for clinches or back off. I do quite like this though, going into the clinch, pulling them down to the mat, pulling them down to the floor, and getting in the rear naked. That for me is something that I do enjoy, and it's a move that I know I can do. What I'm not great with is blocking transitions on the floor, so I try and avoid going into that position, and hence why a lot of the time when I end up on the floor in a pretty sloppy on top position, I do end up being tapped out by chokes or arm bars and stuff like that when I'm in the upper position, you know. And that's basically linked to the fact that I'm just not good at blocking transitions and that sort of thing. I can block submissions. I've worked out how to do that, but I'm not great at blocking the transitions, and I end up in like the north-south or positions that really don't give me much of an advantage, but give me more of a negative advantage. But we're into the round break here between rounds 1 and 2, and we're basically just told to go with counter-striking opportunities and stay patient. So I take that as a positive round. Because even though I haven't got him to a point that here's his big glaring bullseye weak point, what I have managed to do is get him to the point that my guys are just saying, just keep doing what you're doing, essentially, because that's what they're saying. Whilst he doesn't have a glaring weak point, you know, his nose is bleeding or there's a hole in his heart or something, it's definitely got to the point that it's definitely there saying that I can win this if I keep going, and that's a positive for me at least. So we're going to the second round, and it's much of the same really. The stand-up game, the kicks. He gets rocked, he goes down. Quick mount, punch, and then pull off because I'm still not confident about my mounting ground game, and then he goes down to a knockout. That is my 9th win as a professional MMA fighter. See you at Fight 10. We're on a UFC fight night now, so we are now actually a part of the UFC. We've got Matt Hughes on our first UFC fight. Yeah, I'm going to be dropping the audio down that a little, but I do want you guys to drop your opinion whether you like the low audio, or whether you want me to completely cut it out so that you've just got my audio, because I quite like having the backdrop audio from the actual UFC guys, but I find it difficult to get the perfect thing. I mean, I've been dropping the audio down to number 2, and you can still hear it relatively loud, and it's a bit worrisome, you know. So I'm going to try different things. But from this fight onwards, we're in the UFC. You can tell that because we're in the Giants ring. We've got well, we had a UFC referee. We're in a UFC branded octagon, and we've actually got UFC commentators and a UFC branded clock. So in this fight, it was very much about. I've heard of Matt Hughes. I don't know much about him, so I've got to test him really, and just sort of be wary of the fact that he could well be. There could be quite a jump in talent, you know, going from unnamed people who are similar to celebrities in terms of name basis to actual fighters who actually exist. There's usually a step up in the quality of the fighter and a step up in sort of their ability. You know, the no-name fighters tend to go down a lot easier than your named fighters, as shown in the short-lived run I did with Brock Lesnar, where as soon as I got to the UFC and started fighting named fighters, I suddenly had a hole in my brain and was instantly knocked out in every other fight, and so I wanted to learn my lesson here, and I wanted to sort of stay back and play a more, you know, whilst I can run in and I can do damage, I didn't want him to do too much damage to me, because I wanted to sort of stick to a reasonably defense game, sort of. Not that lay and pray bullshit, but literally just sort of pulling back a lot, staying at a leg's length. Because that's a good thing you've got with GSP. He's got long legs, so he's got a decent reach with those kicks. But I get the knockout on Matt Hughes, and I'll see you in fight number 11, because we are 10-0.
George Rush St-Pierre. Harley Davidson.
Nate Diaz be our 11th win. Only we will find out in this fight. So here we are at another UFC. We're actually at a UFC pay-per-view at this point, I believe. And you can tell that by the colours changes. This is more silver rather than red colour based. But we're both in blue, but obviously we're the one who is GSP with the buzzed head and in like sort of cycling shorts rather than what is sort of standard MMA guy uniform. I've always preferred the fighters who dress differently. I don't like the boxer. I mean, I know people call boxer shorts like underpants, but to me, boxer shorts are kind of what Diaz is wearing in this fight, because they're like, stupid I know, but the shorts that boxers wear. You know, a lot of boxers wear that sort of thing. The knee height, the knee length shorts. You know, and whereas GSP sort of in like a swimming trunky kind of thing. At least I had swimming trunks similar to that about 10 stone ago. But yeah, in this fight I just wanted to, again, I was very, very wary of the fact that I'm fighting a named fighter, and named fighters tend to be a bit of a buggy for me, especially early on in the career. I can, you know, a career can be made, or in the case of Brock Lesnar, ruined by some very early powerhouse defeats. So I didn't want any of those really. I want, you know, if I was going to have a defeat, I wanted it to be a defeat that, you know, I couldn't avoid. A defeat that wasn't wasn't my fault, because obviously if I lose, I lose, you know. But a defeat that was just a defeat that happens, as opposed to a defeat that clearly shows there's some rot in the fight, so to speak, in my fighting skill, so to speak. You know, not one of those fights that says, well, you know, my defense is shit, and this is why here's 3 people in a row punching me in the nose and knocking me unconscious, sort of thing. You know, that was something that was very much telling with the Lesnar run, and if I lose, I'll be able to know. I'll know, you know, he goes down here from that kick to the head, and I drop into that rear naked choke. Again, I'm getting close to being able to finish it, but time runs out on the fight, and we go into the break. On the fight. I definitely feel that this is a reasonable fight. So, good job stopping your opponent's transitions. He doesn't see any bad areas. That means we're on top, pretty much. We're looking very much on top. So, pretty much stick to what we're doing, and we'll probably win. Sorry about yawning, guys, but at the time of recording, this is 2 minutes past midnight. So, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, so we go into the second round of the fight here, and again, I'm in with the kicks, and I'm just basically going with what I was doing before, because, you know, clearly that was working, and, you know, going for kicks, spinning back fist, hard, rights and lefts, just trying to hurt the bloke, really. I back off a bit here because I'm getting a bit dizzy, well, not rocked, gassed. I was getting gassed, and you know you're getting gassed in this game when your guy suddenly sort of drops down to like really slow punches, and he's hitting them a lot slower than he was before, and you know then that your guy's gassed, and you need to back off and stop trading power blows. That's something I did. I also sometimes in that case like that, hands up, pull in, going for the clinch, grapple down to the floor sort of thing. Rear naked choke. Plenty of time to regain my stamina, so to speak. So that's also something I have used before in times of need. But in this fight, you know, I take him down to the mat here, and again, I really don't feel comfortable in these on top positions. But I got him a shot in the head, but I was unable to finish. He managed to get back up, but knowing that I'd rocked him on the floor, and I could have, if he hadn't managed to defend himself at that last minute, I could have knocked him out. It definitely made me think I have done some damage to that guy's head, and the knockout just goes to prove it. So there we go, guys, another win for GSP, and I believe that's 11. That's our 11th win. So I'll see you guys in fight 12. Not sure if this guy's a name fighter, but this is fight 12, and this is Paulo Thiago. Or Paulo Thiago, I don't know. I haven't heard of this guy, but I've heard a very sparse number of individuals on this level, so that can't be anything of whether the guy's decent or not, based entirely on the fact that I know very limited about UFC fighters, as I've said multiple times, but I'm just enjoying playing this game and giving my at best spotty analysis. So again, it's punches for this fight to start me off, just to sort of see what kind of hand speed Thiago's got. He slams me back first into the cage, but I break free and I get a quick kick in there. Again, it's rights and lefts, the spinning back fists coming out again. It's caught him a couple of times, the spinning back fists, but it's not catching him hard and in the right sort of timing, so it's back to kicks. The spinning back fist is getting a fair bit of use because I think I upgraded it prior to the fight, and that's always good. Missed the attempt at a clinch transition there. Yep, so grappling a bit, back up against the cage, never a good place to be, but you can sometimes pull things off by being in that position. So we've been pulled apart from the referee for being boring. That usually happens when you're up against the cage. You're pushing up against the cage and literally you're just kneeing each other in the thighs, which is something that happens a fair few times in some of my fights. For me, I'm happy to isolate a body part, and you know, I don't see why we have to be pulled away from the cage for not necessarily doing much, because, you know, you know, if I'm kneeing him in the thigh and he's kneeing me in the thigh, then eventually one of our thighs is going to give out, surely. But, you know, be that as it may, rights and lefts coming in, raining down on him. Even though he's taller than me, he gets the odd kick in, and you know, we both have our little flurries of kicks here. This is definitely looking like one that could go multiple rounds. So, you know, at least maybe, or it could be a first round. It's hard to tell really. Hard to tell how much damage is coming in and out, but we've got a couple of seconds left, so it's looking like we're going into the. He hits the deck, back up, but it looks like we're done. But in like the last second, I get him rocked and I get him knocked out with about 3 or 4 seconds to go in the round. Another win for GSP. That makes us 12-0. I think. Yeah, I think that's 12-0. So see you guys in fight 13.
Finish of the fight. Here's a spinning back fist. Perfect position. Perfect placement. Look at the speed and power in this spinning back fist.
And yeah, I'm a bit concerned. So we'll go straight into the fight, and let's just hope for another win here. You know, it's Matt Serra again, a named fighter. So there is definitely the worrying part there that he could be better than he could be a better talent than I'm ready for, really. So hopefully that's not the case, and I'm walking out with a win. That would be fantastic. That would be lovely. It would be one of the best things that's happened. So. You know, cause it's good. It feels really satisfying when you beat a named fighter, based entirely on at least for me, entirely on the fact that I go into these fights with named fighters, incredibly concerned that they're going to make me look like an idiot, and they've got a habit of doing that. You know, the multiple defeats I've had to Stefan Struve in many a playthrough of this game. Anderson Silva being my bogey person in the Chael Sonnen run, incidentally losing the UFC Championship a couple of weeks ago. Certainly wish the Chael thing was ongoing at that point, because that would have been quite funny if I'd beaten Anderson on the game in the same week that Wyden beat him in real life. But I do know my odd little bit, and I am really trying to get into it. I listen to the MMA Report with John Pollock every week. I'm already a Law listener, and I am starting to watch some of the pay-per-views, so I'm definitely trying to get into it. But we get another knockout win here, and that is 13-0. So I'll see you in fight 14. Please get me away from 13. I hate that number.
St-Pierre. He's got a nasty left hook, Mike.
So we're ending the episode 2, with another named fighter, Carlos Condit. Same rules apply. I am terrified of named fighters. Have a real sticky problem with them, but hopefully, and that is a big word, hope there, Condit isn't another one of my sticklers, and hopefully we can put Condit down, or tap Condit out, or even hell, go to the judges. But he floors me really early on, and I'm on my back on the mat, which I don't like, but I'm definitely there throwing the punches while I'm pulling along the floor. Back to my stand-up game, which is definitely my strong point in this career run. Never really in the early days of playing this game, I never really favoured the stand-up, and I just sort of ran in with hard punches, got them on the floor, climbed on top and punched them in the face until the referee told me to stop doing it. And in this, I am as I'm playing this game more and trying to learn different things. I am finding the stand-up strike and getting knockouts to be a lot more of a lot less hassle, really, because it is quite a bit of hassle risking your ass to all manner of ground submissions, which a lot of fighters do have some pretty sick, like chokes and stuff, and arm pulls and I don't know, trouser pulls or whatever, you know, that pull you in to make you scream, "Oh, mommy!" and you know. But yeah, definitely hoping that I can do something with Condit. And I'm not looking too bad against Condit. I mean, I've looked worse in fights, and I'm really doing a lot better with Pierre than I thought I would. You know, I wanted a smaller guy because I wanted to try the speed game a bit. Playing with speed, playing fast fights, moving around more, dodging, you know, that sort of stuff, as opposed to playing the big beefy monster guy who walks in, takes 100,000 punches to the gut, but punches somebody so hard in the face they have to have facial reconstruction, and then on the way out of the ring punches a wall and the building falls down. You know, I'm bored of the Incredible Hulk kind of idea. But you see, this happens to me a lot on the mat, into an arm lock, a Kimura that is, but I managed to pull free. But I am quite scared of those because I have been going to some ridiculous close-up chokes that have put me out before, and I don't like that. So I like to avoid. That's why I don't necessarily favour the ground game. In that way, but we're just being told it's a good fight, which is reassuring, I suppose. Again, I would much prefer, rather than just saying, "Yeah, that was good," I'd just prefer them sort of saying, "Okay, you've been punching him lots in the shoulder, so keep punching him in the shoulder and his arm will fall off," or whatever, you know, as opposed to, "Well, that was good. That was good. Keep doing that, that's good." You know, I'd quite like it to be, you know, okay, so, or even the opportunity to sort of, in that, you sort of get a little pause menu, you can see how much damage you've done, so you can sort of work towards dealing more damage to a position, because I know it's trying to be realistic with how much information a fighter in the fight would actually be given, but, you know, it's a video game, you know, let's have a little bit of craziness added in. If video games didn't have a little bit of craziness in, we wouldn't have had Mario, Pac-Man and The Legend of Zelda. So let's have a little bit of, it doesn't have to be 100% real, because if they absolutely want it 100% real, are they going to come up with some technology, maybe for the Kinect or the PlayStation Move, where you have to wear like a amateur wrestling, an amateur wrestling style headgear during the playing of the game that connects wirelessly to your PlayStation, and you feel the punches to the face. You know, I mean, full like blue screen bodysuit off of that film with Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear. Stuck on you, where the blonde one's the actor, and he's wearing that bodysuit, and his brother's wearing the bodysuit so that he's not in the video. You know, you're gonna have to wear one of those so that you can feel the shots. I would happily go for a bit more of a cartoony kind of style. You know, obviously don't go as far as like WWE All Stars, because this game's fucking good. But, you know, let's have a little bit, you know, we can have maybe bigger clocks, you know, more information just in the round breaks would be fantastic, because I think it's a bit sparse what you're told, and it'd be nice to know more detail on what you're doing. So sort of like, I don't know, you press more, you get a couple of seconds to have a quick look at how injured your opponent is, that sort of thing, you know, that'd be quite nice. But Just something I think that would be nice. So we're going into another round break now. I seldom end up in the third round of fights, so to be there is, I suppose, a treat, really. Like I said, I very seldom end up in them, so when I do end up in one, it's definitely a thing to behold. But that's the end of the round break, and we'll now go into the final fight and see how the final round. Sorry, not the final fight. Final fight was a video game in the 80s. So yeah, back in with the kicks and punches, spinning back fists. Just need something to work really, and the kick does, and down goes Condit. That's the end of this episode. We are 14-0. See you in episode 3, where we continue our unbeaten run. Only you can find out next time. See you guys then. Goodbye.
Let's see it again.
Man, he got some torque in those hips, didn't he, Joe?
Yeah, that was just perfect technique, right in the perfect spot.